I've made several $1,000,000 in revenue using this simple process. I want to make this video quick for you. If you know these two things, you're going to want to apply these all throughout the sales call. Step 3 is my favorite. This is where the sale goes down 100% of the time. Now, what if I told you that step number 6 was the most important step?
I couldn't, I told them they lied. I remember I would always be thinking ahead of my time. Gave him my
In this video, I'm going to teach you a simple process to sell over the phone that's going to help you dominate phone sales, okay? I've been on Andy Elliott's team for about 3 years now. I've made several $1,000,000 in revenue using this simple process. And notice one thing, I didn't say script, I said process, because we actually use something here called scriptless selling. We don't run through a script word for word whenever we're on the phone with our clients. We have a very basic process that's really easy to follow that's able to take our new sales reps from 0 to doing over 6 figures a month in revenue. And this process alone has helped me go from 0 to 6 figures to multiple 6 figures to even $500,000 a month in revenue generated for the LA group before, which is what was able to give me the old Rolex. So let's jump right into it. And by the way, I want you guys to stick around to the end of the video, because at the end of this video, I'm going to give you access to a resource that's going to help you apply this sales process literally today to start making more money than you made in a long time. So first things first, there's 2 things I want you to understand before we get into the sales process. One is called DISC, and then the other one is tiers, okay? So as I'm explaining this, I'm imagining that you're either a service-based business owner, you're an online fitness coach, or you're a high-ticket closer, okay? And when I say service-based business owner, what I mean is you're a videographer, social media coach, any type of consultant coach, anything like that, online fitness coach, whatever it may be. This process is going to be perfect for you. But it's important for you to understand these 2 things and know how they apply to your industry. But I'll use the Elliott Group and our clientele as an example, and then you can take it and apply it to your business. So whenever it comes to tiers, there's really 3 tiers, right? And this is kind of how I look at it. So if I'm talking specifically niche to the car sales industry, right? I got 3 types of tiers of customers that are going to be reaching out. I got tier 1, which is the newbie. And then I got the guy who's seasoned, I would say, and is just looking to get the edge, get to the next level. And then I have the vet, or as I like to tell my clients to call them, the goats. And these guys are top producers, have the highest standards. So basically, let me break this down for you, right? If I was an online fitness coach and I was looking at this right now, here's how I'd apply it to my business. You got a newbie right here. This would be a guy who's never worked out before, who's severely overweight, obviously in a lot of pain and ready to totally change his life, right? You're going to talk to this guy a lot different than you would talk to the tier 2 or the tier 3 clientele, because it's totally different conversations. This guy has a lot more pain, and this guy's a lot more likely to be ready to solve his problem and take action today. The seasoned guy is going to be a little bit more experienced, and the biggest obstacle you're going to have when it comes to working with this guy is going to be that he's probably comfortable with where he's at. He's in that doing better than most phase of his career. And then this guy right here is the top performer, the best. And the good thing about working with this kind of guy, it is going to be a different type of sale, different type of sales conversation. But what's good about this, working with this guy, is he might be your end up being your best client you've ever had, as long as you know how to navigate him the right way, okay? Now, that covers this. Now, as an automotive example, right? I would consider a new guy, an automotive sales guy, earning less than 50 to 80 grand a year, right? I would consider a seasoned guy 80 to 200K a year. And then I would consider a guy like this 200 to 400 a year plus, okay? Now, for those of you who've never heard of DISC, after we get off this video, I would highly recommend you go look it up and figure out what it means. To break it down for you and for the sake of this video so you understand it, there's 4 types of like birds for the disc profile, right? You got the eagle, you got the parrot, you got the dove, and then you got the owl. And what this means is these are just different personality types. They say in disc that there's 4 personality types everybody has, but everybody has them to a different degree, right? So like typically for every person, 2 of these types of personality types dominate more so than others, right? They stick out more. So it's important to know these because you navigate these personality types a little bit different, right? An eagle is a guy who's all about the bottom line, getting shit done, very direct, very straightforward, doesn't really care what other people think, is just kind of, singularly focused on the outcome. A parrot is more of a guy who wants to make everybody happy, is super energetic, very sociable, very caring, very loving. And then you got a dove who's like loving, but also more introverted. And then the owl is like the furthest on the spectrum when it comes to being analytical and very logic based as a thinker when they run through their thought process. So to summarize all this, guys, if you know these 2 things, you're going to want to like apply these all throughout the sales call. You're going to want to try to always be figuring out, am I dealing with an eagle who's mostly bottom line focused, doesn't care about getting his feelings hurt, just wants to win? Am I dealing with a parrot who's like a people person? Do I got to build a connection? Do I got to be more energetic? Am I dealing with a dove who's like, I got to tone down just a little bit. I got to be more calm, be more loving, but like also be more soft? Or am I dealing with an owl where I need to just give them straight facts and data and be completely logical based? Try not to be too up and down with my tone. Don't be overly energetic or excited or even biased towards your product, right? Now, you're going to want to understand that all throughout the call. You're trying to figure out who am I dealing with. And during the different phases of the process, you're going to approach things different ways depending on what type of bird you're dealing with. And then with this, it's the same thing, right? I'll show you in a minute when I go into the sales process, but it's a lot different dealing with a newbie than it is with the seasoned guy or a vet or goat, okay? So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and roll into this sales process. And this is going to be a 6-step process, okay? Boom. And it's very, very simple the way I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So number 1, when I go through this process, I'm assuming that we're talking about you got somebody who inquired on your product, okay, whether it's through an ad, organically, or outreach, and then you booked a call. I'm assuming they reached out to you for some reason, right? And you sell product. And in this scenario specifically, I'm going to talk about a 1-call close. So I'm talking about they inquired, like say a guy reached out to Andy and he's like, hey, I want to level up in the car business. I'm saying I'm calling him right now, and my intention is to get him signed up for our $1,000 program. So that's kind of how I'm going to run this call. So step number 1 is going to be the intro. And there's 3 pillars of the intro. You got authority, you got energy, and then you got familiarity. Okay? Now, here's how I go into the intro. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm picking up my phone. I'm like, oh, I got a lead. It's Josiah. He's reaching out for more info about our car sales training program. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm going ring, ring. And as soon as Josiah answers, I'm combining all 3 of these into a nice little dish. Okay, so as soon as he answers, I'm gonna say, hey Josiah, what's going on, man? It's Brendan, how you doing? And notice what I did there. You got 2 ways you can approach the intro. You can either go right into your frame, which I'll get to here in just a second, or you can just give a nice greeting, and then they'll ask, well, who is this? And you can kind of gauge a personality type just based off how they respond to that initial intro. So for example, if I call Josiah and I'm like, Josiah, what's going on, man? It's Brendan with Andy Ellie. How you doing? If Josiah's like, what's up, man? What do you think I got? I probably got a parrot. If he's more quiet or if he's more neutral, then I might have an owl or a dove. Hope that's making sense. If you're following, you're fired up right now. Now, going back to this. So I make the intro with authority, energy, familiarity. Familiarity is probably the most important. Familiarity is where I'm like, hey, Josiah, what's going on, man? Notice how when I did the greeting, you didn't even feel like I was even you didn't feel like I was a stranger. You probably felt like I'd known you my whole life, which is what your goal of what you're wanting to do. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into what's called a frame, okay? The biggest mistake you're most likely making on your sales calls right now is you don't frame the conversation, right? You have to frame things so that the customer knows kind of where you're headed with the call, your goals of the call. And by the way, like a lot of times you'll do this frame and you'll completely disqualify a prospect from the minute you got on the phone with them, which is good because you're not going to waste your time. You want to be direct, but you don't want to be so to the point that it ruins the sizzle of the sale. So what I mean by that is this. Right after I say, Josiah, what's going on, man? It's Brendan with Andy Elliott. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Who is this? Hey, thanks for asking, brother. This is Brendan with Andy Elliott. The reason I'm reaching out is because I saw you inquired for more information about our car sales coaching program. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Notice how I get a yes. Okay, awesome. Well, my goal on this call is I wanted to reach out, get to know you a little bit, see if we're going to be a good fit, and then if so, I'll walk you through the steps of the program. Is that cool? That's a frame right there, okay? So after I go through the frame, I'm going to go right into my next step, which is going to be step 2. But the most important thing about this whole process is practice your greeting, practice getting better at greeting with authority, energy, and familiarity, and then build a frame that's non-threatening, right? For your industry. So if I'm a fitness coach, I'm saying, hey, Josiah, I saw you reach out about my fitness program. I've got calls back to back to back all day, but I wanted to reach out to you real quick. I just want to see if we're a good fit, see what your goals are, and point you in the right direction, man. You got a minute to talk? Boom, something like that. Easy, simple, but I would recommend you write it out, have it stuck in your head, so that way as soon as you get into the call, you don't got to think, and you can just be with the person you're with on the phone. Now, step 2 is going to be what we call the relationship, okay? So the relationship is very simple. This is completely different from what most coaches will probably teach you, because they'll teach you to go right into the sale. They'll teach you that if you start to ask people about their personal lives and, it's going to turn them off or create sales resistance. But I disagree, okay? Because I think that if you're a coach and you're going to work with someone long term, you need to actually enjoy working with that person, or else it's not going to be a good experience for either one of you, right? Like I would love to help everybody, but the reality is I really have a certain set of people that I really like. I know kind of what their family life is like. I know what their hobbies are and things like that. And I don't like to deviate outside of that. So relationship is just as simple as it sounds. It doesn't have to take more than 2 or 3 minutes to build a relationship with somebody. Literally, all you're going to do is you're going to grab their age, where they live, do they have family, and maybe their income, right? That's a big one. That's a big one for me. So the way I'm doing this is after I go into my frame and I tell the guy, hey, let's go ahead and get into this. And he goes, all right, man, sounds good. First place I'm going to go is I'm going to say, so first things first, Josiah, I want to get to know you better before we even talk about any business. So tell me about yourself real quick for 30 seconds. Like, tell me, how old are you? Where do you live at? How much, tell me about your family life, and then tell me a little bit about, what you're doing now for income and work and car sales and all that stuff. Now, notice I said 30 seconds, right? You're going to get pull a freaking wild card on this, because sometimes people are going to talk for 5 minutes. Sometimes they're going to talk for 30 seconds. Again, this is how you tell your disc profile. If they go on a rant and they just open right up, you probably have a parrot, right? Or an eagle. If they're more reserved and they give you the exact answers you asked for, you're probably dealing with a dove, or you're probably dealing with an owl, which means you're going to want to tone it down a little bit more and kind of like soften your tone, right? So if I go into this and they're like, yeah, well, I got 3 kids and I live in Alabama. I'm going to say, that's awesome, man. That's cool. You love your family. How many kids do you have? Like, tell me more about your kids. See how I kind of tone myself down? I'm going to their level just a little bit, but I'm still maintaining the authority. Now, this is very simple. So relationship, I just like to have this step for a couple reasons. Leverage later on in the phone call, because I'm going to use their family, where they live at, and their age to convince them why it's a good idea for them to join the program. And also, like I said, just to get to know them and see if we're actually going to be a good fit. So once I gather all that data, that's pretty much the whole summary of the relationship stage. After that, I'm going to do what's called rephrase before I go into my next stage, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Rephrasing looks like this. There's this thing called active listening. It's how you show somebody that you're actually paying attention to what they're saying. So after they give you this summary of who they are, what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to go, okay, Josiah, I got it, man. So number one, thank you for sharing all that with me. There's a lot of things that I want to point out that I love about your character already, right? Now, just to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, you're 40 years old, you live in Alabama, you've got 3 kids, and you're making about $100,000 a year right now. Is that correct? Now, notice what I did. I did what's called rephrasing. I literally gave exactly what they said back to them. And now what are they thinking? They're like, dude, this guy really listens. He cares a lot, right? Again, disc profile, maybe I make a joke there. Maybe I say something kind to them if they're a dove. Eagle, maybe I fire them up. You guys get what I'm saying. Now we're going to go into step 3, okay? Step 3 is my favorite. This is where the sale goes down 100% of the time. Step 3 is called the move stage, okay? Now, when you listen to sales trainers, they'll tell you to build a gap between where the prospect is at and where they want to go. And that's pretty much what I'm doing here, but I'm trying to emotionally move them to want to take action. I'm trying to surface the pain or surface their aspirations and their dreams and their goals and their visions and things like that. So the way I apply this to the automotive industry is I go, okay, Josiah, well, thank you for sharing that. I have a couple questions for you. We're going to go ahead and cut right into like business and why you reach out and all that stuff and see if we're a good fit. Number one, man, what made you decide to reach out? And I'm just going to give you guys a couple questions that I like to ask. And I'm going to kind of show you how this works. What made you decide to reach out? Well, right now, man, I feel like I've got a whole new level inside of me, and I watch Andy's videos or I watch so-and-so's videos all the time or your content, and I feel like it inspires me to be a better version of myself. Now, pay attention. Remember how I said tier 1, tier 2, tier 3? So this guy, where does he fall in that category? Tier 2. So I'm going to talk to him as if he's a tier 2 guy. It would be totally different if he was tier 1 or tier 3. So for example, if you're a fitness coach and this guy's a tier 1, super fat, overweight, and I ask him what made you reach out, you can probably expect what kind of answer I'm going to get from that guy. Man, I'm eating chips. I got bad habits. I can't stop myself from putting food in my mouth. I hate the way I look when I look in the mirror. You can probably imagine all the things he would say, right? I'm not going to talk to that guy like he's up here on the authority level, because in this area, I'm clearly have so much moral authority over him that I don't even need to like really sell him a whole lot. I just need to make sure he's ready to make a decision. So the way I'm going to do this is whenever he says, gives me all those pain points, right? What I'm immediately going to do is I'm going to say, look, man, you fall into a specific category of client that I love working with the most, okay? These are people who are ready to completely transform. I have really good news for you. When you join my program, I'm going to get you what's called a fast win. That means that all those negative feelings that you have, I'm going to give you so much momentum in the next 90 days that you're going to want to run through a freaking brick wall. Notice what I did there too. I threw in some jokes. But the whole purpose of this is with that kind of guy, you're going to frame him on total recreation, right? Look, man, you said this, you're feeling this pain, feeling that pain, feeling that pain. It's time to totally change your freaking life. You know that all the decisions you made have led to where you're at today, and it's time to make totally new decisions, and that's what I'm going to help you, guide you to do, okay? Now, that was tier 1. Tier 2, the guy is not in as much of pain. He's probably not going to open up that much. He might be moderately overweight. So what you're going to say is, hey, look, man, I notice you're in like a very specific category. One of my favorite type of clients to work with, honestly. And that's where you're comfortable because you're not super overweight, but you're also not happy and not eating. You know you're not reaching your full potential. Is that correct? Got it. Well, you're definitely my guy because I know I've been there before. Before I got into elite shape, I was in average shape, and I had to make a decision that I wanted to go all in and become a freaking world-class example of what people can look like if they take their fitness seriously. That's how you're going to sell tier 2. Now, tier 3. This guy's fit. This guy's probably just as fit as you, just as rich as you, or something like that, and he wants to level up. Here's what you say. Dude, you know what I love about you? You're probably my favorite type of client to work with because you always want more. Am I correct? You'd probably be happy and feel like, yeah, your money's worth out of this program if you got 1% better from this program. Am I correct? Okay, cool. Well, look, you're my favorite type of guy to work with. I'm not going to bullshit you at all. I'm going to give you the facts about what my program's going to do, and I feel like you're going to love it, and then we can talk about next steps. But I'll leave it up to you, bro. So I hope you guys are really paying attention right now because I'm dropping some game with these tiers. But what made you reach out? How long have you been following me for? How long have? In the next 6 to 12 months from now, what would you want your life to look like, right? Why now? How has this affected you? Affected you. Boom. I'm stacking all this up, and I'm just trying to give this guy really good reasons and excuses about why he should join my program, and honestly see if he's a good fit, right? But after I do all this, there's one last final step to step 3, and it's called a trial close, okay? Because once you start pitching your program, it's like when you go home with the chick and you take your clothes off, right? You're now going into the close. But it would be nice to know before you do that if she's even interested in you at all, right? So before I ever pitch my program, I'm going to say, okay, look, man, well, number one, I feel like you're going to be a really good fit for the program. I'm really excited to work with you and tell you about how I'm going to be able to help you change your life. First, I have a question, okay? 1 through 10, how ready are you to change your life right now? Now, that's an example. Here's another one. Are you ready to totally recreate your life? Are you ready to get in the best shape of your life? Are you ready to have the best content you've ever had? Are you ready to blow up your personal brand? Okay, that's what I was looking for because I wanted to make sure you're an action taker and you felt the same way I'm feeling. Step 4, presentation. And the way I do a presentation is super easy, okay? I break it down into what I call the pitch stack, which works like this. You lead with the goal. You figure out what your selling points are. And then you use your buzzwords. You implement your buzzwords, okay? So let's say that I talked to that guy and I said, are you ready to get in the best shape of your life? Yes. Got it, man. Well, number one, I want to tell you about X program. This is going to be my Fat Loss Accelerator program. The goal is very simple. It's to drop 10 pounds of body fat in the next 90 days, okay? The program's super simple. It's broken down into 3 pillars. Number 1, I'm going to give you the fat loss blueprint. Now, notice what I'm doing here, guys. Very tactical. I'm using buzzwords as I'm talking. The fat loss blueprint, okay? I'm not going to say I'm going to send you over a PDF. It's going to have fat loss. It's going to have all your things you're going to need to know to lose fat. I'm saying your fat loss blueprint, okay? I'm making it sound sexy. How something's presented, it's how it's perceived. Next, we're going to do weekly coaching calls one-on-one. And then lastly is the accountability tracker. And all throughout I'm saying, and look, man, the reason I do this is because in order to go to the next level, you got to have higher levels of accountability. Am I correct? Bam, I'm getting yeses out of them, you know? Now, that's how easy the presentation is. I'm starting with the goal, so when I go into my product, I say, hey, I want to sign you up for Andy's Car Sales Accelerator program. The goal's very simple. It's to have you making at least $15,000 in the next 90 days. The way we do that is we run you through 3 pillars. You get access to the virtual content. You're going to want to train for 30 minutes a day on that. We're going to hop on a weekly call, and we're going to recap and go through everything you're learning. And lastly, you're going to have access to the community because who you surround yourself with is who you're going to become. Am I correct? Yes. Bam. Okay, and then now here's how you're going to do it. Now all of this is super simple. Does that all make sense? Perfect. Josiah, I got great news, and we're now in step 5. All of that I just told you, the cost of this program is only $997, okay? It's a one-time fee. Once you pay, we're rolling for the next 90 days. Now, I'm going to use DISC one last time and reference the DISC profiles. Eagle, parrot, dove, owl. Is going to kind of depend on how I'm going to go in and ask for my sale. It's a one-time fee. If it's an eagle or an owl, I might say, how do you like to proceed from here? What would you like to do next? If it's a parrot or a dove, remember these people are more people pleasers than these two. These guys are more analytical and straightforward. They're going to make their own decision. You can influence it, but they're most likely going to make their own decision. These people are more people pleasers. I might assume the sale with them. So instead of going, how would you like to proceed? I'll say, all I need to get you started right now is your email, and then whatever card you want to put it on, go ahead and start with the email. Bam. You just closed a $997 deal. Now, this is about the point where you're going to start to get some objections. So here's what you guys are going to want to do right now. If you guys want my objection handling framework and you want a list with exact word tracks of how I overcome these objections around the sale, there's about 8 of them that are prevalent in the service-based high-ticket coaching industry. I'll send it over to you. All you got to do is like the video, comment, and then shoot me a text. I'll put my phone number like right here on the screen, okay? But if you want that, that's it. Because I could go over objections, but it'd probably take an hour of my time. And I want to make this video quick for you. But I hope you're getting value. Now, let's wrap it up, man. This is step number 6. Now, well, what if I told you that step number 6 was the most important step? You probably would be a little bit confused because you'd be like, dude, well, you already took the money. Well, I know. But I like to think about what's called the LTV, the lifetime value of the customer. I'm a long-term thinker, which means I want repeat customers, I want happy customers, I want referrals, because that's how you're going to be in business long-term, and that's how you're going to build your own empire, okay? So, the last step, which is the most important step, is the fulfill stage, okay? And here's what I want you to remember for the rest of your life. The first 24 to 48 hours after someone purchases is the most important in the world, okay? Because after they purchase, this is the start of your coaching relationship with that client. So if you make promises right here, or you got them all fired up and you just closed them and it was all happy, and then they don't hear from you in the next 24 to 48 hours, it might change their perception of you and your intentions. So what I like to do is I do a shit ton of follow-up in the first 24 to 48 hours. So first of all, let's say somebody bought the $997 program from me. Number one, I'm going to reassure them right after they buy. I'm going to grab their card number and I'm going to say, okay, number one, Josiah, you just made the best decision of your life. There's a day you're born, the day you die, the day your life changes. Today is the day, okay? I'm so excited. I'm about to send you a new birth certificate because we're going to have to rename you. That's how different you're going to be after this 90 days. Now, here's the next steps, just like that. Here's my SOP. You could even say that if you wanted to. It's a good word track. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 1, I'm going to send over the program to your email. I want you to check that. I want you to confirm you got it with me right after we get off the phone. Shoot me a text. If you don't get it within 10 minutes, I will be calling you back to make sure that you got it. Step number 2, I'm going to onboard you into the community. I'm going to introduce you to everybody, and I want you to introduce yourself back. I want you to be a contributor, not a consumer of this group, because the more you engage, the more you're going to change your life. And step number 3, and this is most important, this is my personal cell. I want you to text me if you need anything at all. Is that understood? Got it. Listen, bro, I got your back for life. I want a long-term relationship. I want to ruin the value of money for you. I don't want this to be the last purchase you make with me. I want you to do business with me for the rest of your life. So we just ran them through all 3 steps. And just to reiterate again, we ask them, we say, am I fully understood? And what we're doing here is we're demonstrating that we're professional and we're serious about them hitting their goals now that they've committed, right? We want our commitment to the client level to be even higher now that they've already purchased. We don't want it to lower, right? As soon as the client feels like you were so committed to helping them, but now that they've committed to buying, it goes, your commitment level is lower, they're out, right? I want repeats, I want referrals, I want my business to grow year over year, so I take care of everybody who does business with me. Now, going back to this, 24 to 48 hours is the most important. So I'm probably going to check in with them in about an hour after they buy. I'm going to send them a video, personalized. Hey, Josiah, what's up, man? I'm so pumped you reached out. Dude, I'm still I got adrenaline pumping through my veins off that call because I know how much I'm about to help you change your life. Just want to say again, name to a face. I wanted you to be able to see me, see where I'm at, see what I'm up to right now. I'm thinking about you, brother. I'm super excited to kill it with you. Hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Boom, 1 hour. 1 hour follow-up right after the call got closed. 24-hour. Hey, brother, were you able to log in on that email? Everything making sense that you're seeing? Can I do anything for you? Roger that. 48 hours. Call them back. Hey, man, what's up? Just wanted to make sure everything's working good. Are we still on for our coaching call Wednesday at 4 p.m.? Other than that, we all good? Bam, you're good. Now, the fulfillment stage to me is everything, because I've always been able to like close people, but to be able to fulfill, once I learned that, my business exploded, and yours will too. So I could go way deeper on this as well, just like the objection handling things. But if you guys want to learn more about that, reach out to me. But this is an ongoing process, nurturing, taking care of clients. You need SOPs, you need systems in place to support your high-level clients and your low-level clients, all of them, right? Everybody who buys from you should have an amazing experience. So to wrap that up, guys, you got the DISC profiles, which you should go research a little bit more. I'll make a separate video on that, but I broke it down briefly for you. You need to tier your clients so you understand what tier you're talking to, right? And then the 6-step process, it's a 6-step process that starts with intro, and then you got relationship, and you got the move, the present, the close, and the fulfill. So I just ran you through all that. Now, I told you at the beginning of the video that if you stuck around for the whole time, I was going to give you access to a resource where you could learn this and start making more money today with your sales. So I have a free mastermind. I do monthly Zoom calls with you, and then every week I send you out a newsletter going even more in depth on this type of stuff and helping you grow your personal brand, take better care of your clients, and everything in between, okay? If you guys would like to join that, I want you to shoot me a text. Again, I'm going to put my phone number right here at the bottom. I want you guys to text me mastermind, and I'll literally send you the link. You don't got to link your card up. You literally give me your info, and you're signed up for the program. I'll say this to you over and over again, but I literally just want to build a relationship, help you grow. I believe in reciprocity, so I want to give you that opportunity for free. So that concludes the video. If you guys got value, like the video, comment below your biggest takeaway, subscribe for more content. I'll be making many more videos like this, and I hope you guys have a great day. Let's go kick some ass.
Ahead of my time, gave it my everything. All I could do was go put in the grind. Now that I made it, I'm